So what is the project? So what we're proposing is a 49.9 megawatt energy storage facility, and that's a containerized battery storage. So it's basically shipping containers that have been fitted with racks and racks of batteries, small battery components. If you've ever seen it inside a data center, where you have kind of racks and racks of servers, it's very similar to that. If you walked inside one of these storage containers, you can see racks and racks of small battery components that make up the full storage container. So the development consists of those containers, the batteries inside, the associated equipment, and we have an access track, so a small meter building, a small kind of substation building to get the power to and from the grid, some fencing as well to kind of screen it, and some, which I'll talk about later, to show the kind of the visual screening that we're doing. So in essence, what all battery storage projects, what all energy storage projects do in effect is we take excess power from the grid at times of high demand, high production. Normally that's from renewable energy. So renewable, if you've ever drove by a wind farm and you've seen wind turbines going in the middle of the night, and you wonder, some turbines going and some turbines not spinning, you wonder why that is. And that's really because we don't need that excess power. So when wind turbines are told to turn off, and the developers for those are paid a subsidy for that. So instead of having to switch off those wind turbines and lose that power, we can store that excess energy and keep it for when we do need it and put it back into the grid. And that helps balance supply and demand. But I'll go into that in a wee bit more detail. So who are Intelligent Land Investments Group? So we are an energy storage development company based in Hamilton and Lanarkshire. We started in 2017. We started the energy storage side of things in 2017. Before that, we were involved in renewable energy projects, so mostly the feed-in tariffs, so sort of single turbines, run river schemes, hydro schemes, solar as well. And we took over 96 of those projects through planning. So we were quite involved in renewable energy. So once in 2017, we realised that we'd realised for a while that energy storage was going to be the next thing that the country needed. So we took on the goal of bringing 3 gigawatts of energy storage to Scotland. The majority of that through 3 pump storage hydro schemes that we have at the moment. The most advanced of those being Red John up in Inverness on the shores of Loch Ness, and that's actually got planning last week. So it's a big project for us. So we're all very excited about that. And also through 1 gigawatt of battery storage projects, similar to with which Restenneth would be part of. So why do we need the energy storage? Why do we need it at all? So Scotland's got a target of net zero by 2045. Now, to hit that target, we're going to have a lot more renewable energy on the system. And with that renewable energy comes the age-old problem that it's intermittent. So it only works when the sun shines, when the wind blows, and you can't always match that up to meet demand. So what we've done in the past is when we've had high demand and low production for renewables, we've turned up coal, gas, and nuclear to make up the difference. But as we're moving away from these kind of fossil fuel generators and nuclear power plants come to the end of their shelf life, we have to find another way to do that. And the way to do that is energy storage. So energy storage lets us store that excess renewable energy for when it is needed. So National Grid, ESO, have estimated we could need up to 37 gigawatts of energy storage by 2050. Currently have around about 4 gigawatts of energy storage, so it's like another 10 times what we've got at the moment. Now, the Scottish Government are broadly supportive of these kind of projects. They realise if they're going to hit those targets, we're going to have that more renewable energy, and with that, we're going to have more energy storage as well. So, like I said, they're broadly supportive of projects like this. So why in this location? Why are we at the farm here at Restenneth? And the reason is that the land's located next to the Lunenhead grid supply point. So that's the substation that's over the road from it, really. And basically, a grid supply point is a large hub for the grid. So it's where transmission power comes in on pylons, gets broke down at high voltages, gets broke down into smaller voltages, out to smaller substation, and eventually down to your homes and businesses. So it's an ideal location to add that kind of 50 gigawatts or just under 50 megawatts of power into the grid. But the problem that we have in Scotland is that there's a lot of grid supply points, but not all of them have the capacity to add this kind of power in. And fortunately, Lunenhead is one of them. So that's why we're at the land beside it. So the next few slides give you an idea of where we are, and from planning terms, it's because it's the planning boundary for the project. So if you look, you can see the red line boundary. So that kind of gives you an idea exactly where we are. So it's land at Restenneth Farm. We're to the south of the B9134 between Forfar and Lunenhead. We're 200 metres from Forfar to the southwest, 200 metres from Lunenhead to the northeast, and the closest houses are around 200 metres away at Dunnanchill Avenue. I don't know if I pronounced that right. At the edge of Forfar, and at Dunder Way and Lunan House at the edge of Lunenhead. So we're a good distance away from any other kind of projects, any other kind of homes or residential properties. So, site layout. Now, the project itself, this is a kind of planning drawing. So, hopefully you can see the kind of green rectangles there. So, those are the energy storage units that I mentioned. So, we've got 50 of those on the project. So, we have the access track coming off the old Brecon Road into the project, and with our access track going down either side, with 25 of those containers either side. And we'll have, if you look there, you can see a kind of purpley line going around the project. And outside of the compound, there's going to be a 3-metre high wooden fence to screen all of the containers that are in there. And we also have new tree planting that we're going to plant all the way around it. So it's a kind of green hatched area. And that's going to be new native broadleaf trees that over time will come to screen the project entirely from the road. So the visibility, once those are actually in, are going to be it's going to be pretty minimal. And we also have a small meter building here as well, which hopefully you can see. So that's kind of just a small substation building that keeps all the power to and from the grid and back to the batteries again. So the energy storage units themselves, we have, they contain all the batteries like I'd explained. So they've got the racks and racks of smaller batteries. They've got inverters inside them, transformers, all the equipment that we need. And those are 13 metres by 2.5 metres by 2.6 metres high. And the batteries that we're using are solid state lithium batteries. So those are what have been used successfully on many other sites, most other sites, battery projects in UK and worldwide. So it's proven technology. The substation building itself is a small glass reinforced plastic building, and that contains all the equipment we need to get the electricity to and from the grid and back again. And that's 10 metres by 6 metres by 3.2 metres high, and with a council, a colour that we agree with the council. That should say Angus Council, not Inverclyde. Apologies for that. And the fencing that we were talking about, so this gives you a kind of cross section. So we've got a 3-metre high wooden fence, and outside of that we have the new trees and planting that will agree with the council. And over time, like I said, those will come to screen the project entirely in effect. And outside of that, there's a 1.2-metre high post and wire stock fence outside of that again. So I think that gives you an idea of what it is we're proposing. Hopefully you've got some questions, which me and Greg will take now.